Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. I learned earlier today that we are exactly 100 days away from Christmas. Yeah, there's that to know. I just logged into my Facebook this morning. The page Dexerto said Christmas is 100 days away. And I went, wow, really? Already? I'm shocked. Well, you know what? Actually, I was at Walmart recently, and they did have Christmas stuff out. I was about to say, I'm shocked the stores don't have that stuff out already, but they already do. I was at the Rexburg Walmart, and oh my God, was it bad. You know, the students are back in school now, so literally the entire home decor section, the entire kitchen supply section, all just drained, all just empty, you know, because all the students are coming back trying to deck out their dorm rooms and all of that. They have those mirrors on sale for like $8. I saw like 12 of those in different people's carts. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. We got a lot of giveaways going on. We have the giveaway for Aftershock. We gave away our first pair of passes earlier today. Somebody, loyal listener Lisa, she made me laugh. Because I posted in the K-Bear group saying, hey, we're going to give these passes away to Aftershock. And then I put GA. Of course, GA means general admission. She made me laugh. She goes, is it in Georgia or California? I thought CA, but the post indicated GA, LOL. I can't tell if she's kidding. I really can't. It's in Sacramento, California, Lisa. The festival's in Sacramento, California. It's called the Halfway Giveaway. GA, of course, general admission, like I mentioned. The festival is taking place in Sacramento. We're giving you the passes to get there. You have to find a way to get to Sacramento, California. Aftershock, October 2nd through the 5th. We only have another pair of GA passes to give away, probably a little bit later this week. We also have In This Moment tickets. They're going to be at the Mountain America Center with Days Seeker, The Funeral Portrait, and Dead, Friday, October 10th. We not only have your tickets, but if you win tickets with us, you also are in the running for the VIP upgrade to meet Maria backstage, walk with her on stage. Just listen for back-to-back tracks for that giveaway from any one of the 4 bands on the bill. In This Moment, Days Seeker, Funeral Portrait, or Dead. If you hear back-to-back tracks from any one of those bands, be caller 20 at 208-535-1015. And also, we're giving away tickets to the crazy figure 8 car races happening September 27th. That one's very easy. All you have to do is go on the apps right now, the K-Bear app, the Alt app, or the Cannonball 101 app. Sign up there, and there you go. All right? And we'll be drawing winners for that this Friday. Peach's Pit Party will be back here in just a few on K-Bear 101. I guess hats are a huge problem in Yellowstone. I see the headline here. What's the latest threat to Yellowstone's geysers? Hats. Geologists at Yellowstone have already collected more than 300 hats from the park's hot springs area or areas this year. Yeah. And they're not just dollar store hats either. The USGS, they estimate that the headwear collected this year is worth over $6,000. And I see a picture of all the various hats. I do see a nice sun hat. I see a lot of different baseball caps. Hats are quite expensive. I can't wear regular hats. It sucks. I got to go online and get like the biggest size possible. We're doing this like 1920s Halloween thing coming up soon. And by soon, I mean the month of October, like the middle of the month of October. Me and my girlfriend and her family were doing this 1920s like jazz party thing. And so I'm going to be a jazz musician. I believe it's just 1920s themed, and they made me the jazz musician. And so I have to get a fedora, right? And I've put on regular fedoras in the past. They don't fit. They look like a yarmulke on me. So I have to get a like 4XL leather one that's like $40 online. And my girlfriend and her family are like, oh, we'll go to thrift stores and see if we can find a fedora that fits you. I'm like, we're not going to. I can guarantee you that. I have to special order hats because I have such a big head, you know? Didn't they say in this article here, I was reading more about it, they found like pizza boxes and stuff. Stop leaving your trash everywhere. Yellowstone's trash problem, it says here, is largely accidental, according to the USGS, with more than almost 5 million visitors in 2024. It's one of the most visited national parks in the United States. The large number of people combined with the park's frequently high winds means that personal items often are blown into the park's hydrothermal areas. There are some things like sunflower seed shells and orange peels that are biodegradable, but there's also like pizza boxes and hats. Oh, somebody left a fake Louis Vuitton bucket hat, a stuffed koala toy. I see one Birkenstock sandal, a pizza box with slices still in it. Oh, look, a ball cap that says, I pee in the lake. All right, that's lovely. That's lovely. Here's Fit for a King Shelter on Peach's Pit Party. It's K-Bear 101. K-Bear 101, I was reading about this yesterday. There's a major cheating scandal happening in the World Stone Skimming Championships. Yeah, right here from the BBC. Cheating scandal rocks World Stone Skimming Championships. Real big as the headline here. And I guess what's happening is that all these people, more than 2,200 people from 27 countries, attended this year's event on the tiny island of Eastdale off the west coast of Scotland. Rules state that stones must come from naturally occurring island slate. However, some were found to have been ground into a suspiciously circular shape to help them bounce on the water. So the organizer, he's a doctor, Dr. Kyle Matthews, told BBC News that the offenders had held both their hands up and apologized after asking them like, hey, were you guys cheating? Are you guys cheating in this? So it's pretty funny. They actually, judges use this measuring device called the ring of truth to ensure that these rocks, these stones, are no bigger than 3 inches in diameter. And each competitor's allowed 3 skims, and stones must bounce at least twice in the water before sinking. Is this televised? I kind of want to see this. I kind of want to have this I want to have this live feed while I'm scheduling music for the stations. You know, just to have like something dumb to watch on the left-hand side. That many people showed up to this island. I feel like that'd be so funny. I mean, that would be pretty funny to find. Like if you find out your friend is a world-renowned stone skimmer, for some reason, you and your friend take a camping trip to the lake, and he's like, hey, man, watch this. And he just throws a stone perfectly as he can. And then all of a sudden, the stone just skips like 20 times in the water. Your jaw drops. He's like, yeah, I'm a professional stone skimmer. Like, okay, man, that's cool. I posted this on our Facebook page, K-Bear 101 FM. LimeWire, out of all things, the company, they bought the rights to Fyre Festival. Namely, its trademark, logo, domain, social media accounts for around $230,000 via eBay. You know, the seller was Billy McFarland, the original co-founder of Fyre Festival. LimeWire outbid other interested parties, including Ryan Reynolds' production company, Maximum Effort, which I thought would be funny too. The whole thing is pretty great. LimeWire intends not to rehold the disastrous original festival. Instead, they aim to revive Fyre as a brand and meme to create real-world experiences, community, and surprise, whatever that means, you know? I guess they're adding like some sort of like NFT thing to it as well. They're also aware of the whole notoriety with it, and they want to lean into the whole meme value. So they're making it self-aware, essentially. That's about it, really. But LimeWire buying Fyre Festival. I thought LimeWire got shut down and didn't exist anymore, but now all of a sudden they're back. If you want to read the full article, it's on our Facebook page, like I mentioned, K-Bear 101 FM. Another season, another time for Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow to miss some games. I feel bad for Justin from 105 The Hawk. He's a giant Bengals fan. I believe he has Joe Burrow on the fantasy team for the company. After suffering a turf toe injury to his left foot in the first half of Sunday's win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Bengals doctors have determined Burrow will need surgery that will have him on the shelf for 3 months. Burrow had season-ending injuries in 2020, a knee, and 2023, a wrist, that caused him to miss a combined 13 games. In those games without Burrow as their starter, the Bengals are 2 games under 500 and average just under 20 points. I wonder which backup quarterback Justin will have in the meantime. If you don't think you have enough Tom Brady in your life, you're in luck, because TB12 will be joining Rob Gronkowski, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and others in the upcoming Fanatics Flag Football Classic. The tournament will take place in Saudi Arabia, out of all places, in March, and will be Brady's first football action since retiring 3 years ago, and will also feature Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, coaching 3 flag football teams filled with superstars. Everything's in Saudi Arabia now for some reason. Ryan Blaney had a successful weekend at NASCAR's Cup Series race in Bristol, Tennessee, coming in 4th to advance in the series playoffs and winning a playoff point by winning the opening stage. But Blaney had a bit of a distraction during the race, his nephew Bodie. During the race, a small child's voice came over Blaney's radio to say, "Hi, Uncle Ryan. Go, Ryan. Win this race. Win this race." Blaney quickly responded, "Mom, get Bodie off the scanner." It seems the kid found Blaney's wife, Glana. Is that how you say her name? Glana's scanner in the bus. Figured out how to turn it on. Smart kid right there. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. Not sure if you're familiar with the country artist Zach Bryan. Everyone freaked out about him when he first popped onto the scene. And I listened to him and I said, this is just boring campfire music. It really does, in my opinion, just put me to sleep. Not necessarily anything to be like, whoa, that was fantastic. But I remember being on 105 The Hawk as the afternoon guy. Before that, I was doing middays on K-Bear, afternoons on The Hawk. And I remember talking about Zach Bryan because every post in the country music world was about him, how crowded his concerts were getting. Like, he would perform somewhere publicly and all the streets would get filled up just to watch this guy with an acoustic guitar. And that was it. And his music's quite boring to me, but every country music fan's like, oh, I love Zach Bryan. I love it. But I was laughing at this video of Zach Bryan hopping a fence to go fight this other country singer named Gavin Adcock. Now, I love country singers' names. They all sort of are the same. I go to Justin all the time, talk with him about what's going on over in the Hawk. And Justin would tell me, like, well, Braxton Moonshine did something here, and Theodore Spaghetti Strings just did this too. And I'm like, what are these names? Gavin Adcock, Zach Bryan feuding. I guess Gavin Adcock was making some comments about Zach online or possibly in public. I don't know, but Zach heard about it, tried fighting Gavin, and Zach hopped a barbed wire fence, which I feel like trying to hop a fence doesn't necessarily make you look tough. You know, he was trying to look all big and start this whole fight, to start this whole like calling out thing. It's kind of like when you wind down a window, you know, the old fashioned way of winding down a window to yell at someone and you have to wind it back up. You look silly doing something like that. Climbing a fence to try to look tough, I don't know. Maybe if he just barged, like he kicked the fence down, that would be tough. But he just climbed this fence. Did he cut himself? He's wearing a white T-shirt. Is there any blood on him? Because if you're trying to go over barbed wire, that's going to hurt. Maybe he is tough. I know the one time I tried hopping a fence, I ended up going back the other way because I was like, yeah, no thanks. I'm good. I'll just go around. Can't wait to see that band live at the Mountain America Center, Dayseeker. Within This Moment, The Funeral Portrait, Dead on Friday, October 10th. I almost forgot the date there. I'm like, wait, what date is that show again? Because there's a lot of stuff happening in the month of October. Usually there's a lot of stuff that happens during October. I know last year, Big J from 100.3 The X over in Boise, he did this whole rant online about how October is too full of shows for Idaho and that it's too much. And it's not necessarily all that bad compared to last year for this year. Let's take a look at that concert calendar. I've been meaning to see what is the next show. You can always find the concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar, or you can use the concert calendar link right there on the app to take you to it. Yeah, the next show is tonight, Everclear at Treefort Music Hall. I know next weekend I'm already making plans to go see Hollywood Undead, Point North, and Autumn Kings at the Complex. That's going to be the same night, September 27th, that Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace will also be in Salt Lake City at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Then a couple days after that, of course, we got a major show happening here at the Mountain America Center. Chevelle Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society. Also down in Salt Lake, Bring Me the Horizon, Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira Elifki. Sad I'm missing that Bring Me the Horizon show. I've been dying to see that band live. I've also been really wanting to see Motionless in White again. The Plot in You would be awesome, too. That whole lineup. Amir Elfke, she's an up-and-comer on the scene. It'd be great to see her. Then October 3rd, we got that Mudvayne show. We gave away all of our tickets for that. If you want to buy your tickets, again, go to that concert calendar. That's always available to you at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. Listen for back-to-back tracks from any one of the 4 bands in this moment: Dayseeker, The Funeral Portrait, and Dead. And you'll be able to be caller 20 then and win tickets to that show. And we'll see you there, hopefully. If you want to buy your tickets as well, again, go to that concert calendar. We're giving away so much stuff. First of all, we already gave away a pair of passes to Aftershock on the noon hour of Madness and Mayhem. Shout out to loyal listener Hondo. Won himself 4-day GA passes to Aftershock. And so now he needs to find a way to get him and whoever he's taking all the way to Sacramento. We'll be doing another one of those giveaways a little bit later this week. Also, we're giving away tickets to go see In This Moment, Dayseeker, The Funeral Portrait, and Dead live at the Mountain America Center on Friday, October 10th. We got that going on. Also, September 27th, got tickets, got Crazy Figure 8 4-pack. Family 4-packs for the Crazy Figure 8 car races happening at the Rigby Fairgrounds. You can sign up within the apps for that. Also for the In This Moment contest, listen for back-to-back tracks from any one of the 4 bands on the bill and be caller 20 to win those tickets. It is going to be a fun time at all these shows coming up here in the near future, and we want you to be a part of them. Got 3 days grace now. Apologies on K-Bear 101. It's Peach's Pit Party. Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I don't know exactly if you're a giant Stephen King fan. I know Victor is. I know a lot of people are. His work is definitely, he's definitely the most popular horror author ever, really. And The Lawn Walk is one of his short stories. Just came out to be a movie. Came out literally last Friday. I've been wanting to see it. My girlfriend doesn't want to see it, so I feel like I might just have to go watch it by myself. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe. If I get bored enough just gaming on my computer, I might just take myself to the movies and go watch it. It looks like it's going to be rather intense. The reviews for it are quite high. I believe it's like 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. And pretty much, I mean, most of Stephen King's film adaptations turn out to be really, really good. Unlike what Victor says, because he's read all the books. You know, he's one of those guys. But I liked it. I liked Shawshank Redemption. Liked most of those stories there, movie-wise. I haven't read the books, though. So I might have to eventually get to reading. I don't know. I feel like I reach these points where I feel inspired to read, and then when I try doing so, I just stop and go back to what I was doing before, which is, you know, work, gaming, eating, etc. But I came across this post in r/horror lit. What is the scariest piece of fiction that you have ever read? This guy is saying, hey, don't hold back on this one. I have no triggers. I genuinely want to be recommended the most terrifying piece of literature you've ever read. Books that incite pure, unfiltered reactions of fear and terror as you read them. And I was trying to think, well, there was that one time Victor suggested to me, he didn't suggest, he just said this was like the grossest book he's ever read, and that is The Girl Next Door from Jack Ketchum. And I bought it on Goodreads, bought a new copy, still haven't touched it. Looks great sitting there on my bookshelf, but have not touched it, unfortunately. But I might eventually get to it. But this is a good thread here. I need to add these to my horror library, I guess. I mean, it's one thing to have the books, right? It's another thing to read them. I do have a bookcase full of books at home, but do I ever actually sit down and read? No. Don't be like me, okay? Read more. Just a couple days ago, I was talking about Atreyu all of a sudden wiping their Instagram, changing their profile picture to be black. They did the same thing for their Facebook. They didn't delete all their posts off of Facebook, but they changed their profile picture to be a black square. And their cover photo, also a black rectangle. What is going on? You know, didn't it say like RIP in their bio too. Yeah, it said RIP in their bio. So everyone thought, I mean, here's the thing. When a band does this, they're just kind of teasing that a new song is coming. Atreyu just recently announced a tour, and they're also going to be at, Sonic Temple in the near future, I think. Something like that, but they just announced a tour and everything. Why the heck would they just all of a sudden be like, yeah, we're done? It would be funny if out of nowhere they were just like, yeah, we're actually breaking up because we're just done. All these people everywhere are like, is Atreyu breaking up? Is the band done? And then you get all those like elitists that just go, well, the band was done when Alex left, or they kicked Alex out. There's always those people online. But the band also now shared a follow-up post inviting fans to a special quote-unquote remembrance event set for tomorrow at midnight, or tonight at midnight. Actually, yeah, tonight at midnight, because right as it turns September 17th, I think that's when something will be unleashed. I don't know if it's tonight at midnight or tomorrow night going into the 18th. I'm assuming it's tonight. But the mysterious gathering can be joined via AtreyuIsDead.com. They even bought the domain to really go along with the theatrics. Is Atreyu dead? 27 years young. Family and friends, please join us in remembrance on September 17th at midnight. I'm not a big fan of when somebody goes like, I'm 68 years young. It's like, no, you're 68 years old. The whole young thing does not make sense. Should I put yes, I will be attending? I'll click that. Will it have me give them my email? Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm sure, long live Atreyu, sign up to attend the service. Can guarantee you it's just going to be a new single called RIP or Dead, and that's just literally it. Here's I Prevail on Peach's Pit Party. It's K-Bear 101. Well, this one is quite strange. A cameraman working on pop star Benson Boone's tour was arrested last week in Clearwater, Florida, after allegedly, I'm going to say this lightly, going number one on nearly $700 worth of clothing inside a beachside surf-style shop. Yeah, this guy's name is Tyler Capehart, 39 years old. You know it's bad when they release his full name. Like, he's about to be embarrassed for the rest of his life. He wandered into the store, headed upstairs, and was caught on security cameras standing between clothing racks for several minutes. When he walked away, staff discovered the merchandise and the floor soaked in... Yeah, okay, yeah. You understand what I'm talking about here. Capehart reportedly told police he had been drinking and smoking and had no memory of the incident. He was charged with a whole bunch of stuff. He was released, and he also works as a cameraman on Benson Boone's tour, helping film the visuals that play behind the singer during performances. And then it also goes to say it's unclear if he is still working on the tour. That guy's getting made fun of big time. Almost 40 years old, get caught going number one in a public shop. Just go to the bathroom, man. This story is pretty crazy, too. Almost matches what the headline. This dental hygienist in England recently was awarded about $33,000 in cash in a lawsuit as she filed against a coworker who rolled her eyes at her. The drama unfolded at a dental practice, which, I mean, drama unfolds everywhere you go. It's dumb. Everybody should just mind their own business, leave it as that. No need to unfollow another coworker because they forgot to do something. I don't know, something stupid like that. But this lady, she's 64 years old, worked as a hygienist. She claims the workplace had become hostile because her coworker even put out her full name. How do you say this girl's name? Jisna Iqbal, Iqbal, rolled her eyes repeatedly and ignored her during shifts. So the 64-year-old woman, Maureen Howson, claims it made for a toxic atmosphere that led to panic attacks and eventually forced her to quit. So she sued and won. The court ultimately found that the practice failed to address Howson's concerns, and the judge called the lack of action an unacceptable omission. Oh, come on. This is happening over in the UK, by the way. I mean, I feel like if this actually were to become a thing in the US, everyone would be terrified to interact with their coworkers because you never know what could happen, really. A real eye roll here. I mean, at least she got money, $33,000. It's not enough for retirement for her, but it's a good boost. I talked about this question on yesterday's show. Talked about what's a band you could never really get into, but you want to like. And then I invited other people on the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group to suggest songs by that band as a reply to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe you would like this track from the band, and who knows, maybe all of a sudden you become a fan of them. And I talked about my answer yesterday. Gojira, not necessarily their biggest fan. Same with Opeth. Same with Pink Floyd for the most part. You're supposed to like Pink Floyd, right? For me, I'm just like, it's the same stuff. I feel like you got to be under a certain influence in order to like them, really. That's all that there is to it. What's a band you could never get into, but you want to like? Let me know. 208-535-1015. What's a band you could never get into, but you want to like?
Sleep Token.
I figured I would get that answer immediately. Sleep Token goes.
They're just a big freaking big deal. Big old everybody know it's a big hype with Sleep Token, and I just don't get it. That one, what's the name of the song? Go ahead and wrap your arms around me. It just repeats that over and over and over.
Yeah, I got to say the latest album was not necessarily as good as Take Me Back to Eden. This latest one's kind of just, I don't know, it's pandering to the TikTok book talk audience that they were, that's dying so hard for them, you know?
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm just like, ugh, God.
What's a band you could never get into, but you want to like? Let me know. 208-535-1015. I was looking at the thread. Logan wrote, Breaking Benjamin, their shows look fun, but everything I've heard from them just sounds generic, doesn't really grab my attention. And then someone replied, because I encouraged people on the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group to suggest songs by that band as a reply to kind of be like, hey, would you might potentially like this one. And so somebody replied with Diary of Jane right there. Theodore wrote Ice Nine Kills, Suicide Silence, Metallica, 3 bands he could never get into, but he wants to like. And then somebody suggested their cover of Bob Seger's Turn the Page, which I do like that cover. Really, it's cool. And in Phoenix, he said No Pity for a Coward by Suicide Silence is hard. That whole Cleansing album is sick. OG Deathcore. We do have some Suicide Silence that plays on Jenk Show Saturday nights, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then also someone said, I wasn't a big fan of Metallica until his friend dragged him to see them in concert. Seek and Destroy absolutely kills live. Seeing bands live is totally different compared to listening to the recordings. I thought Primus would have been a bore fest when I saw them live, but they were awesome. Because I don't really like the recordings all that much. I mean, Primus, just listening to them by themselves. I showed my girlfriend Too Many Puppies, and I do like the intro to that song, but then I'm just kind of like, okay, that was fun, and I shut it off. But seeing that song live, Primus is definitely fun. Also, they suck at the same time. The whole classic joke, Primus sucks. Anyway, what's a band you could never get into, but you want to like? Let me know, 208-535-1015. K-Bear, what's going on?
Not much, it's working.
What's your answer for today's To Peach Their Own question?
Pearl Jam.
I'm right there with you. That late 90s, early 2000s stuff, I'm just like, especially Pearl Jam, not really my thing, dude. It's something that, like, you're supposed to embrace, and every rock station on the planet plays Pearl Jam quite a lot.
Yep.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much for that answer.
You're welcome.
You have a good one.
You too, bye.
208-535-1015. Anyone else saying anything in that thread there? Someone else said Gojira, so I'm not the only one. Seven Dust from Stuart. That's a surprising answer. Seven Dust is pretty good. Doug, Volbeat music is good, yet the vocals suck. Yeah, the reason why I love Volbeat is because of Michael's vocals. If you go back to like the early albums, he does sound quite funny. But what's that one? Seal the Deal. Love that album. Love Servant of the Mind. Love The Hangman's Body Count. That was the first song that got me into them. Amber wrote Coheed and Cambria. I love a few songs, and they have cool lore and intelligent lyrics. But I try albums, and it just doesn't stick for some reason, which that's the same thing for me, too. I love Goodbye Sunshine from Coheed and Cambria. I think that's a beautiful song. I think Welcome Home is another great one. They have a couple others in there that I'm completely forgetting about right now, but trying to listen to the latest album through its entirety, to me, I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is cool. Am I supposed to be like, I don't know, moved by it? I don't know.
Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, aka Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.